having your Sabbath day of rest is a time where you do what you want to do with no obligation. You don't have no appointments to be to. You don't have anybody you got to call back. You just take a break from the busyness of the world and recalibrate yourself to the secret, to get in sync with God. You want to be synchronized with his heart. Okay. And so we're talking about how the 10 commandments, the first four, are all summed up in love the Lord your God. Then the last 6 commandments, love your neighbor as yourself. Our commandments 5 through 10 is the second set of commandments that God says in Matthew 22:36 through 40. He says, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And so honor your mother and father, love and respect the family. That's the 5th commandment. The 6th commandment is do not murder. Value life, love others enough not to harm them. And understand this, you can murder people by slandering them. You can murder people by being patronizing to them, putting them down, acting like you're better than they are. All of those things serve as a way of putting people down and destroying them, destroying their self-belief, destroying their reputation in the eyes of other people. All of that is considered murder. Gossiping, slander, all of that is murder. You murder their character. And God's saying, love people enough not to harm them, to value life. I think that's what's missing in this world right now is a value for life. We will kill people over $5. We'll kill people over road rage. We'll kill people because we had sex with somebody we didn't want to have a baby with, and now we want to go abort them. You know, we really need to value life. Make the decision to who you're going to be with and have a baby with before you lay down with them. And if you're going to lay down with them, if you just are hell bent on doing that, then take precautions so that you don't have to murder an innocent life that didn't ask to be conceived. Now, I know I'm going to lose some people there, but I'm sorry. Let's value life, y'all. Let's value life. That's part of the greatest 2 commandments of the New Testament. Love God with your heart, your soul, and your mind. So you will love when God creates life so that you can love others as you love yourself. I'm not coming with condemnation or judgment. I'm just saying, beloved, let's value life. The 7th commandment of the Old Testament is do not commit adultery. Love others with faithfulness. Look, stop being the side chick. Why would you allow your self-worth? Why would you allow your self-worth to be minimized to being somebody's side chick? And look, I'm not judging. I cannot judge. I am not Holy Ghost Jr. I promise you, if we open up my book of skeletons prior to me getting saved and some of the stuff after I got saved, I ain't got a heaven or hell to put anybody in. What I'm saying is if we want to walk in the promises of God for our lives, we have to get to the place where we honor covenant. We honor ourselves. We have more value for ourselves than to say, I'm going to be somebody's side piece. That is your temple. That's your temple. Do not commit adultery. Because in committing adultery, how are you loving that other person's spouse? How are you loving yourself? How are you honoring the covenant that those 2 people got into? You're breaking a covenant. Be careful with what you do. The 8th commandment is do not steal. Respect other people's property. Man, what would the world be like if we didn't steal? If we loved other people's property the way we loved our own, if we respected other people's property the way we respect our own, life would be a completely different place. Do not bear false witness. Don't be lying on folks. Love others with truth. Tell the truth in love. Let me tell you, one of the things I love about my prayer partner is we don't always agree on everything, But let me tell you what, she will call me on the carpet. And Wahiba is my prayer partner. I love her because we don't see eye to eye on certain things, but she's honest with it. She comes and she tells me the truth in love, not in spite, not in condemnation, not in condescending, not in looking down at me. She tells me the truth in love. We need to tell the people truth in love and not bear false witness to about other people. Don't be lying on people. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Love others as you love yourself. Don't you want people to give you the benefit of the doubt? Then give people the benefit of the doubt. Take a moment to really just reflect on how you love yourself and how are you loving other people. And then if either one of those are out of order, how are you receiving the love of God? And how are you loving on God? Worshiping him just because he is who he says he is, if he doesn't do another thing for you for as long as you live. He is still a good God. Worshiping him no matter what. And then the last is do not covet. Love others enough to rejoice in their blessings. You know, someone said to me last night, one of the students from the School of Discipleship, she came over to my house afterwards to give me an estimate on doing my lawn because she is in a lawn care business. Kay, and I think it's, I forget the company name, but it's Karen Ibanez Lawn Care Service. She is phenomenal, a woman of God, and she owns her own lawn care service. You want to go check her out. And so, nonetheless, she was sitting at my house yesterday. We were sitting in the garage and we were just sitting out talking, and it was late. It was really late. And we're sitting out talking. And she said, yeah, there was a lady in the class, and she told me who it was. And she said, she did not like you. She goes, I can tell it was jealousy written all over her. Every time she would smile in your face when you would call on her, and she would affirm whatever you were saying. But then she would turn around, and as soon as you turned around to walk back to the podium, she would look you up and down like, I don't know who she thinks she is. And I knew who she was talking about. And I said, I just don't never recognize jealousy. I just don't recognize it. I just don't see it because I believe I do struggle with a scarcity mentality in certain areas of life. I'm being 100% honest. I'm an authentic coach. I'm not one of those fake coaches that tell you I got my whole life together and crying at night and not letting nobody know. I'm a real coach. Now, there's some areas where I struggle with scarcity, but there's other areas where I do not. And where I see people win, I want to clap for them. I believe there's enough success out here for everybody to get a slice. God is not a limited God. God doesn't have limited resources, and he can give everybody an abundance of love, an abundance of wealth, an abundance of peace. And so I clap for others. So the 10th commandment is do not covet. Love others enough to rejoice in their blessings. If you are always one of those that got something negative to say about people, that says a lot about you. And let me flip this on a coin, because I don't want to point fingers at people. I want you to be encouraged and enriched when you get done with one of these Tuesday night steak dinners, where we give you breakthrough tools. And this has been a perspective shift live. But one of the things that I really want you guys to get is that when you clap for others, you are showing your appreciation for God to love on everyone. But this is the other element of it. When you are pointing out everything about everybody else, that speaks to who you are. So on the flip side of that, let's say you're a receiver of other people's criticism. Don't take it to heart. Eat the meat, spit out the bones, and move forward. Because when someone is always picking you apart, tearing you apart, always got something negative to say about what you're doing and what you're not doing, that person is really self-reflecting. That person is really saying, I don't love myself. And so it makes me feel better to tear other people down. And so you want to be careful of that. So when we look at the 10 commandments of the Old Testament, it is summed up All of the law and all of the prophets are summed up in these two commandments. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And this is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Okay. So we shouldn't have to go back and rehash the Old Testament because it's all summed up in Matthew 22. So when you look at, is self-love selfish? No, it's not. Self-love that is based on God's love being the main fuel, the main tank filler, allows you to love others selflessly. And